Today at Manchester Theatres, I am thrilled to be here with Paul French, who is currently touring in An Officer and a Gentleman, the musical. It is coming to the Manchester Opera House from the 30th of April, and I am pretty certain that everybody who loves the movie of a certain generation will be flocking along to come and watch it. Now, Paul has worked before in many, many shows that we've known as films, such as Annie, The Wizard of Oz, Grease, Saturday Night Fever. And I have actually seen you, Paul, in 3 out of those 4 shows. So I can tell everybody that they are going to be in for a treat because Paul is fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us to talk about the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
So, An Officer and a Gentleman. For those that aren't in the know, can you just kind of give us a little bit of a recap about the story and what it's about?
Sure. So, the general synopsis of the play is that it focuses on the main central character, Zach, who was famously played by Richard Gere in the film. And he's essentially he's at a point of his life where he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's at a bit of a dead end, and he just takes a leap of faith, and he joins the Navy essentially, and he has to go through a grueling camp training process to basically you got to make a certain amount of time and see if he can make it to the end and to get jets. And along the way, he falls in love with a girl called Paula who works at the factory near the naval base. He forms a close friendship with a character called Sid, which is the part I play. The whole time, also, whilst being really challenged and pushed to his limits by the head sergeant, which is called Sergeant Foley, and it's about their relationship as well.
And there's so much going on, as you said. And what I didn't realize until quite recently, actually, was that this film is actually based on the writer's own real life experiences of being in a naval camp and the brutality behind it, isn't there? Isn't it? Sorry. Yeah. So
Yes,
it
sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, but yeah, I only found that out recently as well. I wasn't even sure of that when I started the job and found that out during rehearsals. So it's very interesting, and it comes from clearly that means the book and the script is coming from a genuine place.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you've said you're playing Sid, and on paper, Sid kind of just looks like he has it all going on. He's got this perfect life, but it kind of shows that things can be, appearances can be deceptive, doesn't it? So without maybe giving too much away, can you tell us a little bit about Sid and what he's like and his own journey?
So the character Sid Worley, the part I play, he's also doing the course alongside Zach. But the thing is with Sid, this was always going to happen for him. He comes from a naval family. His older brother did it. His father is very high up in the ranks. So it was less of a choice, really. It was just always mapped out for him that this was going to be what he was going to do. His older brother, who was extremely successful as well in the Navy, he died in a plane crash, in a plane accident. So Sid's parents essentially have put it all on Sid. There's a lot of pressure on Sid to fulfill all of the things their parents wanted through both sons. So there's a lot of pressure coming from the family on Sid to do well, to be the best, and it's not necessarily essentially what Sid wants to do.
No.
Sid, he loves his baseball. He's got lots of hobbies, and lots of things fascinate him. But being a soldier in the Navy is frankly not actually one of them. So it's about balancing the pressure, but also trying to be authentically himself at the same time, and how that can clash.
And we kind of have to mention Lynette. Now, what do we think of Lynette? I mean, she seems okay, then she doesn't seem okay, and then she's the catalyst for this whole thing. What's your take on Lynette for the way that she treats Sid?
So me and Sinead Long is the my co-actor who plays the part of Lynette. We've had this conversation. Um, do we think Lynette is a bad person or misunderstood? For context,
Yeah.
Lynette is the best friend of Paula, who falls in love with Zach. The two girls is kind of they're hovering around the naval base sometimes. They go to the sort of local hangout spots, if you will, where the soldiers go. Um, and he essentially ends up falling in love with Lynette, and it's Lynette's dream to get out of where she is. She too is in a spot in her life where she's working at the paper factory and she wants more. She wants more than what she has, which is totally fair enough. The American dream, if you will. She wants to get out of there and she wants to live the best life she can. And for her, the way out is to marry an officer and travel the world and be a wife to a naval officer. But again, without giving too much away, when Sid takes certain actions that he does to prioritize himself, Lynette doesn't necessarily agree with, and things transpire. And you could be in a position where you look at Lynette, sorry, as a bit of a villain, if you will. But I think what everyone's got to understand is that she is in a horrible position in her life and she's prioritizing herself, which I don't think we can villainize too much. Yes, there is maybe better ways she could have gone around it and she could have been more transparent from the go, but we've got to give her some credit that she's a young woman with nothing and she's doing her best to make something of herself. So there's plenty of ways to look at it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think it's interesting. And I'm glad you've actually said that you've raised that, because people, when they're trying to look, just do what they have to do to survive, it's not always done with, it's the intention behind it, isn't it? It's not done with any intention to hurt Sid.
No.
And that's a lot of the time that people get vilified in life when they don't need to be.
Yeah, I truly believe that she loves Sid.
Yeah.
I don't for a minute think that that was ever the question. It's just part of the reason why she allowed herself to fall in love with Sid is because she believed that Sid was going to offer her a certain path in life, which he then turns around out of nowhere, which you could see as quite a selfish thing for Sid to do.
Yeah.
He didn't run it by her first, and so there's two sides to every story. So yeah, I'll let the audience make up their minds on that one.
They can make their own mind up, yeah. And there's also two sides to the friendship between Zach and Sid, in that it is the most unlikely. These two people, in any other circumstances, probably just wouldn't tolerate each other, wouldn't come together. But they do, and it just forms this gorgeous friendship between them, doesn't it?
No, so Zach and Sid have one of my favorite bromances ever. No, it's so much fun to play it with Luke, who plays Zach. Yeah, so like I say, Zach's from nothing. He's a fighter, rough around the edges. He's not traditional in the sense that he would do things that Sid would deem as like cheating, for example. He has this whole thing where he sells clean uniform to other soldiers, and Sid thinks that's wrong. But I think they both have characteristics that neither of them have, and they like giving them to each other. So, for example, Zach has a scene where before the party, Sid's a bit nervous because he's not really been around girls much in his life, and the whole idea of going to a party to meet a girl is quite daunting for him. And Zach just, just tells Sid to relax. He says, "Don't worry about what your parents think and all that. You've got to be your own man." And he's like, "You're the admiral's son. The girls are going to love you." And Sid can take stuff and confidence from that. Likewise, Zach can often stray away from maybe what's the correct thing, and I think Sid Sid shows Zach that doing the straight and narrow is just as equally rewarding, and the payoff can be even greater. So yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's fab. As is the music. My goodness, the soundtrack to this song. I mean, Bon Jovi on stage for a start. Come on, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Billy Ocean. The list goes on and on. And I haven't seen the show of this yet. So, are the songs done in the traditional pop or rock versions that we used to, or have they been given like a musical theatre makeover? Is it somewhere in between?
No, it's a good question, and I think it's the perfect blend of both. This production's been orchestrated by George Dyer, and I think what he's done with the music is it's fantastic. The way that he can marriage the two for a musical and these iconic songs to so seamlessly work together alongside the script is it blows my mind, to be honest. Because I even in rehearsals you see him figure it out at the piano right there, and it blew my mind every time. And yeah, to be able to perform these songs is such a gift. We open Act Two with "Living on a Prayer," me and Lynette,
Love it.
and the scenario is we're in the local pub. It's called TJ's, the local bar, and it's a karaoke night, and everyone's just had a lot to drink, and it is just so much fun to do. So much fun.
It is. It's a brilliant one to belt out. And so you've got singing, you've got acting, you've got dancing, but then, as we've talked about, you've got the plot based in a naval training camp. So have you kind of been like with the rehearsal side of it? Is it something that you've kind of had to really do all of those exercises? Is that kind of shown in it? Does it exhaust you? What?
Um, So the choreography is done by Joe Goodwin, and the way that she has again married choreography, dancing style with the sort of drilled physical exercises, and she's blended that together as well, and it makes for such clever and scintillating choreography. It's a gift to perform, and I really think it transpires from stage as well as a perfect blend of the both.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these conversations were had in the rehearsal room of what a naval base would be like and how grueling it is and stuff. And the dancing's not necessarily about like you're not watching 42nd Street, you know. We're not we've not all got the same perfect lines. It's not about you don't feel like you're watching a musical theatre number. You feel like you're watching a set of athletes, if you will, burn out in front of you. And I think that's what's important. It's not about, there are numbers where that's different. Lynette has sort of a dream sequence where she speaks about what she wants, and that's Material Girl. And then these people in her imagination form, and that is more of a musical theatre number, if you will. Where we're all flaunting these expensive gifts in her face, and she's in a world of her own. But when we're in the naval base, it's more of just like watching these people just like absolutely burn up in front of you. Yeah, it's so cleverly done. It
Yeah.
really
You must be exhausted.
it is. That number especially. We come off and we lie down on the floor straight afterwards.
Yeah, like, "Ugh." And all of this has been done under the watchful eye of the fabulous Nikolai Foster. I mean, what has it been like working with him? The work that he's producing constantly is fabulous.
Well, yeah. Like you say, you've seen a couple of my past productions as well,
Yeah.
which a lot have been with Nikolai. And to be quite frank, as long as he'll have me, I'll keep coming back. To work with him is an experience like no other because you don't feel like you're being told what to do,
Yeah.
which is can often be the case, which is fine when you're being directed. They've got a vision, but with Nikolai, it feels like such a collaboration process. And as an actor, I can't tell you how rewarding that makes you feel as an actor. Like you feel like your thoughts are being heard, and when you've got an opinion on your character that you grow to like really cherish, and you come really close with your character. And when you feel like your thoughts and opinions on the character, well, maybe he might do this. When you feel like that's being heard and that's being pushed to the forefront, I can't tell you how rewarding it is. And like you say, his work speaks for itself. Like the stuff that Curve are pushing out. I mean, yeah, it really is the top of the musical theatre game, and it is an honour every time I get to work with him. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Keep it coming, keep it coming.
Hey,
Oh, we have to mention the big moment of an officer and a gentleman. Even if someone hasn't seen the film, they'll have seen it parodied. I mean, it's even in Friends with Ross and Rachel. So when the big moment happens, what is the audience reaction like? Does everyone just go bonkers?
I personally, for me, I've never experienced anything like it as an actor on stage. We're all in the wings as Zach goes up the stairs behind the set and then walks on at the top, and he appears there in his white suit, and the place goes ballistic. It is. You'd think after a certain amount of time we get like kind of used to it, like
Yeah.
we just be like, oh, it's the bit where they go a bit crazy. But every night it honestly sends chills up your spine, and you get goosebumps. The place goes ballistic, and then he walks down slowly, which is a massive cheer. But then the roof raises when he comes, and then he sweeps her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the place goes bonkers, and it's one of the highlights of the night for sure.
I'm getting goosebumps just even when you're talking about it. Yeah. I cannot wait.
Even me talking about it now, I can't wait to do it again tonight.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
Oh, fabulous. Well, we don't have that long to wait because, as I've said, it's coming to the Manchester Opera House from the 30th of April. So grab your tickets. And Paul, we cannot wait for you to come along with the rest of the cast and crew. Thank you so, so much for your time today. Like you say, I know you've got another show to go and do. It's non-stop, but we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we will see you soon.
Thank you very much for having me. Cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.
This is the United States Navy. Stand tall. You will soar into heaven and dive into hell if you want to become an officer and a gentleman. I want your DOR now.
No, please, I got nothing else. I got nothing else.
You've come a long way, Zack Mayo.
Don't you get sloppy on me, Pokrifki.